Now to the story of a pig that is inspiring others.
It's an iconic story, made even more iconic with that unforgettable laugh.
Chris P. Bacon was born without the use of his
It's been 12 years now since then WPSD Local 6 anchor Robert Bradfield read, or tried to read, the story of a pig inspiring others. Since then, the clip has been watched millions of times on YouTube, and it still circulates to this day.
I was just looking through my Facebook messages on my professional page, and I'm getting messages from people still.
What started as a heartwarming gesture,
I said, I wonder if I can make him a little wheelchair.
Has grown into an internet phenomenon.
I mean, there's a reason that thing was just shared and shared and shared.
This week on the Crossroads Suncast, the story of Chris P. Bacon. What the anchor, Robert, thinks about the clip that made him famous after all these years.
I don't think I've ever laughed like that ever since. I don't think I can replicate it if somebody says, hey, can you do that again?
How a minor league baseball team hundreds of miles away keeps the name alive.
There's something to it. There is a lore, there is a history, there's a reverence or irreverence about it that just resonates with so many people.
And answering the questions that everyone wants to know.
Is Chris P. Bacon still alive? Or, how's Chris P. Bacon doing?
I'm Morgan P. Regal. January 27th, 2013. Dr. Len Lucero, a veterinarian in Florida, uploads a YouTube video called Pig in Wheelchair, Chris P. Bacon. It's a 6-minute video, no music, no voiceover, just Chris and his oinks. Dr. Lucero adopted Chris when he was just a day old. A woman brought him into his clinic, expecting he'd have to be put down due to the condition of his hind legs.
His joints are fused, so it'd be a form of arthrogryposis, where the joints, they're fused. They don't move. And what little range of motion he has is in his hips. But his knees and his heels, they're fused tight. You can't move them at all.
Dr. Lucero decides to adopt him, but wants him to have a better life.
I said, I wonder if I can make him a little wheelchair.
So the light bulb went off. He fastened his son's K'NEX toys to some vet wrap to tie it all together. That original prototype didn't last long, though.
And it served the purpose for, I'd say maybe a month, 2 months. And then he just started growing so fast that I couldn't make them fast enough.
Eventually, the wheelchair manufacturing operations get handed over to a company endorsement. But it all started with that first video.
We were getting millions and millions of YouTube hits. And, and quite honestly, I really didn't know what to make of it. Well, what goes along with that is you start getting lots of phone calls, and media, books, schools, everybody wants, and to me, that was a lot. That was a lot to manage.
He and Chris P. do their first media interview with a Florida TV station, WESH.
Meet Chris P. Bacon doing what he loves best.
Is it feeding time?
It must be. It's always feeding time for Chris P.
Soon, Chris P. has an internet following of his own. Several 100,000 followers on Facebook, something Dr. Lucero was proud of.
I tried to speak in his voice and make him as funny as possible. And it's just, comedy is something that I've always, just enjoyed. I mean, how can you not be happy laughing?
The fame takes Chris P. and Dr. Lucero across the country.
We've been to California, to Boston. We endorsed a lot of schools, and we went on a lot of hospital trips. We visited with kids in wheelchairs, just trying to inspire mostly kids, because, he was such a cute little animal. And if he can do it, why can't they? So, that was really our focus audience.
It's in Boston where his story really blows up.
Because how often do you get to see a pig in a wheelchair who loves munching on Cheerios?
I want to take him home because he is funny.
He is funny.
Local station WHDH tags along as Chris P makes a visit to a children's hospital there. The story gets distributed among other NBC affiliates like WPSD, and as they say, the rest is history.
Robert, Robert, last name Bradfield, Bradf is in Frank, IELD. Currently at WCJB, the ABC Gray-owned station in Gainesville, Florida.
That's where Robert's at now, but for 6 years, he called WPSD in Paducah, Kentucky, home. Turns out it almost wasn't.
The opportunity arose to work in Paducah. When I was recruited here, the recruiter said, "How would you like to work in Paducah?" And my first response was, "Huh?" I did not officially apply for the job. A friend of mine did, and then he took a job somewhere else. And then our VP of news at the time, Bill, said, "If there's other people like you," to my friend Miles, "I want other people like you. So send me some names." And my friend Miles did, and I was on a plane a couple weeks later.
He starts in 2010 and works his way up to part-time anchor. Fast forward to February 2014. It's an ordinary night. Robert is anchoring WPSD's 9 p.m. news.
The 9 starts now.
WPSD Local 6, your breaking news and weather authority. This is the 9.
Good evening. A shooting range under fire.
It starts out like any other newscast, but Robert remembers feeling unprepared.
I was also filling in night side for the reporter who had called out. I anchored the 9 to 9:30. There was 30 minutes really that I was not devoted to the story that I was trying to turn for the 10. So I was rushing, didn't read a lot of stories that day.
He says because he hadn't read the story, the uncontrollable laughter was his genuine reaction seeing it for the first time.
It was not really the name first. It was really the visuals of the pig being tiny in the hind wheels, trying to motivate students, I think is what the story was. And then I saw Chris P. Bacon in the teleprompter, and I knew right away.
Robert says about 5 words after that before losing it.
Chris P. Bacon was born without the use of his
It really was a belly laugh. I don't think I've ever laughed like that ever since. I don't think I can replicate it if somebody says, "Hey, can you do that again?" Obviously, it was a genuine reaction.
We cannot. Oh my God.
At this point, the camera comes out to Robert, face red, not even pretending to hide it. But he's not the only one with the giggles. The weather anchor at the time had them too.
She couldn't finish the story either because she was at the weather center, really keeled over in laughter as well. And then also at the end, when you see a 2-shot, it's supposed to be me and the weather anchor to do a weather close. But I'm keeled over the desk and there's nobody standing where weather's supposed to be. And then it goes to commercial.
Robert recalls it took about 6 months for the clip to gain traction and go viral. It started on Reddit and then celebrities caught on.
I think Tyga, who was dating a Kardashian at the time, had many years ago posted it on his either Instagram, Facebook, some sort of social. And then it exploded, of course, again.
It didn't take long for Chris P's dad to see it too.
When I first saw that video, he has a very contagious laugh, so it didn't take me long to be rolling with him.
Robert says it's an understatement to say this clip follows him everywhere now.
I mean, that's part of who I am. Every station that I've worked at now, they all Google and they say, "Isn't that the crispy bacon guy?" So I got to kind of set that standard in the beginning.
Believe it or not, Robert said he still has not seen this clip in its entirety. Why? Because he just wants the moment to live in his memories.
Maybe in the beginning, I probably was embarrassed because, WPSD was my only second station at the time. I wanted to be professional. But, that happens. And sometimes you get a little carried away.
In our interview, he wanted to set the record straight. No, he did not get fired for the clip, as many have speculated. But when he did leave WPSD a few years later, Chris P made sure to say goodbye.
And this is Chris P. Bacon right here, telling you good luck.
Overall, the feedback Robert still gets to this day is overwhelmingly positive.
I was just looking through my Facebook messages on my professional page, and I'm getting messages from people still This is one guy's name, Jared, saying, "Is that you?" Question mark. A couple people have just said, "Thank you. You've made my day." So it's glad to see that. There was another man, he lives in Florida, ironically now, saying that him and his family have watched it and they keep watching it when they're down. And it just brings a smile.
And there are two questions everyone wants to know. The first,
do I eat bacon? And the answer is yes, but it's turkey bacon, because I still have that thought that maybe crispy could be on my plate at that moment.
And number two,
I still get the question, how is crispy? Is crispy still alive? And I don't know the real answer to that. Again, every time maybe I order a bacon cheeseburger, there's a little part of me that's like,
Like any good journalist would, I set out to get those answers, and I couldn't be happier to report.
Right there, buddy. That's an old man.
You said he's 14 now?
He's gonna be 14, yeah.
14 years old and weighing about 75 pounds. Yes, Chris P is alive and well. His dad, Dr. Lucero, says he's old for a pig and isn't as social anymore.
I would describe him now as a grumpy old man. He really doesn't like human interaction. He'd rather be left alone, but he has no problems laying next to the dogs. Every once in a while you'll hear him yell out to the dogs, almost to get out of my bed or leave me alone. I'm not in the mood. But as far as humans go, yeah, he's a grump.
He's not as active as he used to be either. As for those famous wheels,
he'll use it every once in a while. It's not his favorite thing. His favorite thing is to lay down and pretty much do nothing.
Dr. Lucero says the viral run ended several years ago after their Chris P. Bacon Facebook fan page got hacked into and was never able to get back in.
We decided, that's a good time to retire. We, if we changed anybody's life, it was a good run. And it was so much work, and like I said, I'm not very active in social media, and it was really hard for me to make myself active. I figured it was a good time for us to, hang up our hats and, and just let him live out. I can't even say a normal pig's life because there's nothing normal about his life, but live in the lap of luxury, however long it'll be.
While I had Dr. Lucero on the phone, I had to get the story on where the name came from. He wishes he could take credit for it, but instead it's his son that can take a little bit of it.
We used to sit and play a game called Banjo-Tooie on Nintendo. And, he would play and I'd sit there and watch. And there was this little pig with a scuba outfit that, went down into the water. And he said his name was Chris P. Bacon. And I couldn't stop laughing, and this was well before I got Crispy Bacon. So it just so happened that when I got him, I remembered that name and I said, "You are Crispy Bacon from here on out."
It's a funny name for a pig, but how about for a human?
Everybody kind of Google searches themselves. I used to try to be up there at least somewhat. I was in television before and I was like famous or anything, but then all of a sudden you put mine, I'm like on page 11. That pig has like the first 10 pages of Google search results.
That's Chris Bacon. Yep. Just like the pig. I interviewed him for a different podcast last year. I remember asking him the same question that apparently everybody else asks.
And the middle name is not Paul. So that's the first thing everybody asked with Chris Bacon is is your middle name Paul or Pete? I was like, no, it's Alan.
I asked a tongue-in-cheek question to Robert if he was sorry about ruining Chris's Google reputation.
I don't apologize that far. Maybe if his middle initial was P, but if it's J, R, any other letter, maybe he needs to advertise himself as Chris middle initial Bacon. So maybe that could be his website, to differentiate if it's not P. All these years later, maybe he can contact Google and kind of change his algorithm. I don't know if that would change the millions of people who use Google each day. But again, maybe I'd start marketing myself with using my middle initial if I were him.
You know what? I'm at that point in my life. I just lean right into it, man. I just, you just have fun with it. And, another little anecdote with it is I think it just shows to where local news and newscasters sometimes you look at them as robots. You see them as people who just read the news, or they're impersonal. But that's the beauty of local news, especially because they are your hometown and they're human, and we all have human moments on the set. And it just shows that your anchors are human. And honestly, sometimes those funny viral moments, it just kind of puts the guard down and you see the human side of people.
We are the AAA affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies, located in Allentown, Pennsylvania. It's just about an hour or so northwest of Philly.
I recognize this is probably a little out of left field, no pun intended, but the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs is actually where I got the inspiration to do this story. Manager of broadcasting and media relations for the team, Sam Jelinek, tells me the team name is rooted in that area's rich iron and steel production history.
Iron Pigs is a play on word of one of the things that gets produced during the steelmaking process, which is something called pig iron. It's when you pour, if I'm hoping I'm getting the story right off the top of my head, you pour the iron, the molten iron, into this kind of trough-like thing, and when it's in there and molten, it kind of looks like pigs suckling at a trough.
Like any good sports team, the team needs mascots. The first ones were named Fifi and Ferris, play on words for the periodic table of elements for iron. They also have alternate mascots for what's called the pork races, basically a mascot race the team does at every home game. That group leans more into the pig side of the team name, and I'm sure you can guess where this is going.
The story goes that back in the day, I believe it was the second year of the team, they crowdsourced from within the front office, okay, we're going to create some pork racing mascots. What should we actually name them here? And some people in the front office were able to come up with Crispy Bacon.
If you're listening on the day this releases, the team is doing a Crispy Bacon bobblehead promotional giveaway at the ballpark tonight. Named after the pig? Well, only history knows the answer to that.
As far as I'm aware, not direct inspiration at least. Is there a way that probably they had heard it and thought that would actually probably look, that makes a lot of sense? Probably. But it's now so apocryphal and so long ago, nobody knows the true story anymore.
I asked the rest of the bunch, Robert the anchor, Dr. Lucero, and Chris Bacon himself, about the mascot they're all tied to in some way or another.
I think that's amazing, and it's funny because I went on Google and I did a Google alert. Whenever you hear Crispy Bacon in social or on the internet, it'll send you a link to whatever's being said. And yeah, that mascot sure sent me a lot of Google alerts.
That's the beauty of minor league baseball, and it's just fun. You have those opportunities to have fun with something. You have and kids and families can laugh about it and lean into it. And that's the beauty of minor league baseball, the promotional aspect and getting people to the ballpark.
12 years later, I'm happy that it's still out there. It was supposed to be a positive news story to end a newscast, and it's made thousands of people smile and laugh.
That's my big takeaway from doing this piece. Whether it's a silly minor league baseball mascot,
it's not just our Crispy Bacon. Crispy Bacon for everybody is like just there's something to it. There is a lore, there is a history, there's a reverence or irreverence about it that just like resonates with so many people.
The viral moments.
Sometimes we have to look at social media, and there's so many cruddy things out there and things that kind of make you feel down or angry or whatever. But these are the good moments of viral videos, of just having a laugh and showing human moments and just being something that's funny.
Or Crispy Bacon himself.
When you're smiling and you're laughing, you feel good. And if you had any part of that, it makes you feel good. So, and the fact that, we're saving a pig's life in the process, and, maybe some children with disabilities, their lives changed a little bit, well, then it was all worth it, and it's who I am. I love to make people smile and laugh every chance I get.
Laughter is the best medicine. Robert, take it away.
Now to the story of a pig that is inspiring others. One one pot-bellied pig has certainly endured his share of problems. Chris P. Bacon was born without the use of his I can't. Yeah, you have to read this story. We cannot. Oh my God.